What is going on, people? Back on the New England Shake Up, episode 16. Alex and Cam back again with another episode. Today, deep dive on the New England Patriots. As always, guys, this podcast is brought to you by Crazy Good Kitchen on 168 Newbury Street in Boston, Mass. Go grab some good food, go with your family, go with a few friends, drinks, food, burgers, whatever you're liking. Cam, my co-host as always. What's going on, man? Time to talk Pats.
Yeah, not much. I'm just ready to hop into Pats. A lot of new deals have popped up since we last recorded, so yeah, I'm just ready to get into it.
Yeah. So with that said, few deals off the table. Cam, I'm gonna let you lead this one. So a few deals obviously this week for the Patriots, but also you also wanted to bring up some previous deals that have happened with New England. And also, guys, we're gonna deep dive off of those deals as Cam announces to us. So Cam, off the top, what is either the deal that either surprised you the most? Or would you rather just want to go through all of the deals and just let the people know who signed for what amount?
Yeah, I mean, we can just go through the deals for who signed what amount and what we think of the deals.
Sounds good.
I mean, some of the deals are ones we've already talked about, like Kendrick Bourne, we've definitely already talked about. I love that deal. We were happy that that was the first receiver that we had locked down and were able to keep when there were rumors that he was going to leave. So that one makes a lot of sense. The Hunter Henry 3-year deal to me doesn't make as much sense, but maybe Hunter Henry will shock me and make me eat my words.
Yeah. Yeah, he could, but I mean, not a lot of production in the last couple of years, so we'll see how Hunter Henry holds up. I hear that in the previous talks before the podcast, Cam, we were talking about running backs. A few running backs are locked up for the next couple of years. Let the people know how that is.
Yeah, so Antonio Gibson signed with us for a 3-year, 11 million. So yeah, that's a really just good deal for both parties. Like Gibson definitely kind of wants a second chance. Not that he needs one. I mean, he played well. I'm not putting it like he's one of the worst running backs or anything. He's a very good player, puts up good numbers, and the Patriots are definitely going to get him a lot of snaps. And I mean, Stevenson just signed a 4-year deal, and he also has a lot of potential. He's done a lot of the snaps the last year or so. So those two together, I think Gibson has a lot where he can kind of mentor Stevenson, like how Jonathan Jones can mentor Gonzo.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots have just done a good job of mixing like young talent with veterans. I don't think they did that as well with Mac Jones and the teams previously, which I kind of like Gerard Mayo's approach.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think Gerard Mayo, I think it's like key that you're seeing like Owenu getting locked up and you're seeing Bourne getting locked up and now it's like Stevenson's now locked up and you have Drake May on that rookie contract. So it's looking like for the next 3 or 4 years that Drake May is going to have serviceable weapons around him. Yeah?
Yeah, and consistently the same weapons. It's not like with Mac Jones where it felt like a different team every year. Having the same people around definitely helps the chemistry of the team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And any defensive additions or extra extensions or signings, I should say, that really could have surprised you, or maybe for that matter, just what are they doing here, I guess.
Not any that really surprised me, but I was really happy that Duggar signed an extension. That
Yeah,
was the kind of big one. And I mean, I'm still waiting on Judon to sign an extension. I mean, he's been really patient, so I don't think he's gonna care how much he really makes. Because I mean, after that contract he got in Baltimore, uh, he even like kind of admitted that he's never gonna be living paycheck to paycheck. So he wants to get the most, of course, but it's not like he's gonna care as much as some of these younger guys that haven't gotten to as much money as he has.
right, right. And I think it's going to be, a telltale sign is to see like what this team looks like or what the record is in like October, like late October, because that's going to tell us what the future holds for future free agents to come to Foxborough if that is the case. But I think it's a great point that you brought up with the chemistry with Bourne and Baker, and also having Stevenson for 4 years, Gibson for 3 years, Hunter Henry for 3 years. It's kind of giving, you know, maybe it's not even giving Drake May like the weapons right away, but it's giving him, capabilities to lead an offense. You know what I mean? Like Mac Jones, he had Kendrick Bourne. You know what I mean? But like, what did he have after that? You know what I mean? It was kind of like figure it out. um, so now I look at it as like Drake May, this is the first time like in a while that like a rookie quarterback can come in as opposed to like Caleb Williams. But I think Drake May has the best situation because he has the most pieces around him. When you look at like Minnesota, for example, like they have Hawkinson and Jefferson. Um, with Jefferson getting locked up, obviously that looks makes it look better for McCarthy. But according to Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold's going to start. So they're not rushing that. With New England, I feel like it's kind of like if Drake May plays really, really well in the preseason, then the Patriots have a decision to make whether they start him right away or not. Me and you have both talked about maybe sitting him for a couple games to start the year, letting Brissett rock it out. But I wanted to ask you, would you be mad if he started week one?
No, I don't think I'd be mad if he started week one for all the reports of how well he's been doing. But I don't know. I think you definitely give Jacoby Brissett some of that time,
Yeah, I
at
mean it.
least a couple games,
Yeah,
if not more.
yeah, and
But
if
who
it's
knows if May? I mean, he's a top pick, so I mean, I could see him just kind of starting out of the gate. But he's been impressing a lot of people, which is the thing that makes me think he might just start out week one.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing is like, the GM that came over there now that's with New England, they were with the Niners for several years and also with the Packers. So it's one of those things where like they've seen like having a quarterback and sitting and like letting him mentor is the smart thing to do. But the other thing is too is like not any other franchise is the New England Patriots and has 6 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. Like there's expectations there. And I think with New England, like we've talked about this before, this is a perfect opportunity for them to shock the world because they're not getting all of the eyes on them when Brady was there and when Gronk was there, and we can name so many other names that were there during that time. But now it's the time like the Patriots are kind of like under the radar, so it's the perfect time for them to strike. And with every report, even me going down and seeing Patriots practice last month, it's like you really have to like think about the longevity, right? And like how long it's sustainable. And that's what Belichick, marked all of his success off was like how can we get better every day and how can we learn the process every day in order to win a championship. Now, Gerard Mayo witnessed that firsthand. He was a player for Belichick, so he knows what to expect out of his players, the same way that Belichick expected out of his players. So I look at Gerard Mayo to really open up the floodgates as to like with Javon Baker, for example. Like, remember like for all the years, Cam, when we were kids, and like there were always memes of Bill Belichick like angry and like not smiling at press conferences.
Oh yeah, of course.
Gerard Mayo is going to kind of like let the Patriots finally like open their wings, if I may. And when I say that, I mean as to like letting them go out and do like, marketing things for their own career. You know what I mean? Like being fun on the sidelines, like not taking it like super serious to the point that you hate Gerard Mayo, but serious enough to the point that like there's still an expectation in this building to win football games and they can't be just settled with mediocrity. And I think Gerard Mayo is going to really preach that in preseason camp and also in the preseason games this year. The Patriots right now are projected to win 3 games this year. If I'm the Patriots and if I'm Gerard Mayo, I take that as disrespect. I mean, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I would definitely take that personally.
Yeah, so I think Gerard Mayo is going to really light a fire under them and really show them like Okay, no, everybody thinks that we're not going to win more than 3 games this year. And the Patriots are going to prove everybody wrong. I think the Patriots make a playoff appearance. I said it before the year started. I think they make a playoff appearance this year because there's a lot of question marks with that Miami team. Okay. The problem that I have with Miami right now is the fact that they got rid of Christian Wilkins, which is not an easy replacement. And Miami's running defense last year was already bad. And when you lose Christian Wilkins now, it's just going to make it worse, in my opinion. There's big question marks with the Jets and with Aaron Rodgers and if he's going to be able to play at the same level. And like I said this to you last week, Cam, there's a huge, huge, huge question mark in Buffalo right now. You know why? Stephon Diggs, were regardless of what you want to say about him and Josh Allen were perfect for each other. And the fact of the matter that Josh Allen, before Stephon Diggs got there, never sniffed the postseason, I got a pretty good bet that Buffalo won't make the postseason this year. They have no weapons on offense. Their defense, they lost Tre'Davious White, they lost Poyer, they lost Micah Hyde, they lost and they lost somebody else. They lost somebody else on their defense last year when they traded him. Um or when they traded for him and now he went somewhere else was Rasul Douglas. He's not there anymore. So it's a lot of question marks on that defense, and you have an aging Von Miller as your second best player on your defense right now. There's a lot of question marks. And then you go to the AFC North, like yeah, the Ravens are very, very good. They were very good last year. Pittsburgh, a lot of question marks there. A lot of question marks. A playoff team last year, but a lot of question marks there. Um, Cincinnati, for example, Cincinnati, T. Higgins has been just complaining about money throughout, the offseason. Obviously, he signed the tag and everything, but that's not going to go away. You got to either sign Chase or Higgins, and I don't think they have the money to sign both of them. And then you go to Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, it's like he can't even stay healthy. They were in the playoffs last year, but you're not going to get a Joe Flacco miraculous season every year, guys. It only comes twice in our lifetime. Um, which, somebody was making a great point to me about that. But then you go to the AFC South, and it's like Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, for example. Like they should have made the postseason last year, but that somehow they messed up. They couldn't win games. They didn't get there. They just paid Trevor Lawrence all of this money. Okay, he's the highest paid quarterback in football right now. So the fact of the matter is that when you allocate all of that money to a quarterback, that not gonna lie, I'm not set on Trevor Lawrence being a franchise quarterback just yet. I haven't seen enough. And then you go to the AFC, like the AFC South exactly, with Houston, for example. Houston was great last year and they got better. I could see them being a contender. But then you say the Colts. Anthony Richardson broke his collarbone last year. There's a question mark there with if he's going to be able to stay healthy because their backup now is not Gardner Minshew. And then, you know, and then obviously the other one is the Tennessee Titans. I mean, they're very unproven. They have Will Levis at quarterback. Yes, they got Calvin Ridley. Yes, they got L'Jarius Sneed, but does that really scare you? We haven't seen
Tony
enough.
Pollard.
Yeah, Tony
Yeah, I mean
Pollard.
the Colts were underwhelming. I think the Colts are going to have a good year this year.
Yeah,
Colts and Texans definitely could both have like monster years
yeah.
if they stay healthy.
Yeah, but my point is the AFC East is wide open right now. It's wide open for anybody to take. In my heart of hearts, I believe that the AFC East this year is going to be like the NFC South from last year, where there were teams crawling and crawling and crawling and crawling trying to get into the postseason. Through week 10 last year, the Carolina Panthers were still eligible to get a playoff spot because the NFC South was so bad. Like, I think the AFC East turns into the NFC South this year. There's a lot of question marks, but the Patriots right now don't have a question mark with their defense. Their defense is pretty good. And yeah, you might miss Bill Belichick's play calling. You might miss some of that defensively, but in turn, the defense is still good. You know, I think Gerard is going to be able to bring
Yeah, with a
schemes.
defender as the coach too. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I wouldn't be that confident if it wasn't a defensive coach. You know what I mean? Like if it was an offensive
yeah.
coach, I'd be like, nah, he's not going to do good. But for the episode of episode 16, it's like how far can the Pats go? They can go as far as the postseason because the AFC right now, the Chiefs are contenders, the Texans are contenders, the Ravens are contenders right now. There's no one else that you could literally say to me on paper is a contender to win a championship this year in the AFC. They're not. There's nobody. There's only three right now because there hasn't been that training camp trade yet. You know, everybody forgets about the training camp trades, dude. That happens before every year. There's always a big training camp trade. Somebody doesn't want to be there, somebody doesn't want to pay the money, somebody doesn't like where they're staying. It happens. And there's going to be a trading camp, a training camp trade is what's going to happen. It's just a matter of who it's going to be. But Cam, do you have anything else to touch on for episode 16 of the New England Shakeup?
Oh yeah, so it was just interesting that Gerard Mayo was the 10th pick in the draft. I didn't know he was drafted that high,
Mm-hmm.
and that also kind of just helps. I think like he could give very good advice to Drake May, him being another like top pick. So I think just for like his development, like we already talked about, keeping the same pieces locked down, him also being a top pick, I feel like a lot of stuff is kind of being set up kind of perfectly for Drake May right now.
Yeah,
I think like he'll only be as good as he wants to be, honestly. So yeah, I mean, and him being a defensive coach really helps that he can kind of unlock the defense. Not that Bill Belichick wasn't, but Gerard Mayo has been there and won, so we'll see what he can do.
yeah, we'll see what he can do. On that note, Cam, do you have anything else to get into for episode 16 of the New England Shakeup?
No, that's it. I just want to thank everyone for listening.
All right, guys, this is episode 16 of the New England Shakeup, guys, and we are out. Peace.